Dinosaurs may have been some of the largest animals to ever live, but they definitely weren't the first. And in some cases, their predecessors were absolutely dwarfed by the giants that came before them. Hi, it's me and welcome to Wave Flux. Today, we're talking about the prehistoric giants that dwarfed dinosaurs. So let's get into it. Most people know that dinosaurs were really big, but few realize just how big they could get. Take the Argentinosaurus, for example. This massive titanosaur was over 30 meters long and weighed more than 70 tons. That's about the size of a double-decker bus. Then there's the Gigantosaurus, which could grow up to 12 meters tall and weigh over 15 tons. These giants roamed the Earth during the Cretaceous period, but they were far from the first large animals to do so. In fact, the Earth had already been home to some pretty big creatures millions of years before the dinosaurs even showed up. We're not talking about dinosaurs here, but rather the strange and wonderful inhabitants of the Carboniferous and Permian periods. These creatures may sound familiar as we'll be talking about some megafauna you might recognize, but they might surprise you with just how big they could get. Let's start with the Meganeura. The Meganeura was a type of insect that lived during the late Carboniferous period around 300 million years ago. It was a type of griffin fly, related to the modern-day lacewing. But unlike its modern relatives, the Meganeura was absolutely gigantic. Its wingspan could reach up to 70 centimeters, making it one of the largest known insects to have ever lived. To put this in perspective, it was almost as wide as a doorway. With such large wings, it's no surprise that the Meganeura was also one of the largest flying insects ever found. It would have soared through the skies with ease, hunting down its prey and carrying it back to its nest. Its exoskeleton was also incredibly tough, allowing it to survive attacks from predators and even withstand extreme temperatures. In fact, fossils of Meganeura have been found in places like France, Germany, and the Czech Republic, indicating that they lived all over Europe. They were also found in North America and most likely Asia as well. Although we don't know exactly what they ate, paleontologists believe that they were carnivorous or omnivorous, eating anything from small insects to fish. Their sharp tooth-like mandibles would have made quick work of their prey, tearing it apart and swallowing it whole. If you're afraid of spiders, maybe skip this next one. The Arthropleura is a genus of extinct millipede that lived during the late Paleozoic era. Fossils of this giant worm have been found in various parts of the world, including Europe, North America, and Australia. The arthropoda is estimated to have lived between 300 and 290 million years ago. During this time, the Earth was much warmer than it is now, and the continents were joined together in a supercontinent called Pangaea. The arthropoda was truly a massive creature. It had a segmented body, much like a caterpillar, and was covered in a hard shell. It is believed that the arthropoda could grow up to 2.6 meters long and was one of the largest terrestrial invertebrates to ever exist. To put that into perspective, it was about the size of a car. And just like a car, it probably wasn't very nimble. Despite its size, the arthropoda was not a predator. Instead, it was an omnivore, feeding on plants, fungi, and decaying organic matter. It's thought that it used its many legs to crawl along the forest floor, searching for food. The idea of a giant worm-like creature crawling towards you is enough to give anyone nightmares. But the truth is that the Arthropleura was an important part of the ecosystem in which it lived. It helped to break down dead plants and animals and recycle their nutrients back into the soil. While it's impossible to say for sure if these prehistoric giants were still alive today, it's likely that they would be extinct due to human activity. Habitat loss, climate change, and overhunting are all likely culprits. However, there is hope that by learning about these creatures and protecting the habitats of their living relatives, we can help ensure that they never end up like the dinosaurs. Now let's talk about some sea scorpions. Probably the scariest part of the ocean, only rivaled by the megalodon. And while this is a topic for another day, these sea dwellers were huge. Take the famous Jaekelopterus, for example. This massive arthropod was a true giant of the seas, growing up to 3 meters long with powerful pincers and a tail with a deadly sting. It was a fearsome predator, hunting down other marine creatures and crushing them to death. Or consider the Jaekelopterus. This bizarre creature had a head like a turtle, a body like a starfish, and fins like a bird. It could grow up to 5 meters long and use its huge wings to glide through the water. It was thought to be one of the first vertebrates to evolve, but it lived until the late Triassic period, when it went extinct during the biggest mass extinction event in history. It's unclear why it went extinct, but it may have been because of competition for resources or changes in the environment. Regardless, the Jaekelopterus was a truly unique and fascinating creature that played an important role in the evolution of life on Earth. Moving on to land, we have the mastodons. These ancient elephants were true titans, growing up to 4 meters tall at the shoulder and weighing over 10 tons. They were perfectly adapted for life in the grasslands, using their tusks to fight off predators and their trunks to gather food. Mastodons were around for millions of years, but they eventually went extinct during the last ice age, possibly because of a changing climate. Finally, we have the Paleozoic. This strange creature was related to the rhinoceros, but it looked more like a hippopotamus. It had a thick, warty skin and a single horn on its nose, which it used for defense and display. The Paleozoic was herbivore, feeding on plants and shrubs. It was perfectly adapted for life in the swamps and marshes of Florida, where it lived, but it went extinct around 10,000 years ago, possibly because of rising sea levels. It's hard to imagine what life was like back then with these huge creatures roaming around. But thanks to fossils and other evidence left behind, we can catch a glimpse of what it was like and appreciate the incredible animals that once inhabited our planet. And while you won't find any dinosaurs in this list, you will find plenty of gigantic creatures that lived before them. From terrifying sea scorpions to giant worms, these prehistoric beasts will make you wonder if the dinosaurs really had it so bad after all. And hey, if you want to learn more about these amazing creatures, check out the links in the description below. Who knows, you might just discover your new favorite prehistoric beast. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and a comment. What other prehistoric creatures would you like to see us cover in future videos? Also, remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of our new content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.